Now we'll review a structure that works to factor when we have either a sum or a difference of two cubes. The first thing to do would be to realize that when we have something to the third power, that could be an entire term. And we're going to either be adding it or subtracting from it another what could be a term to the third power. So the idea here is we have something called A and something called B, and each of them are to the third power. This would factor using the following structure. We have a binomial with an A on one side and a B on the other side, times a trinomial with an A squared and a B squared on one side and the other side, and then an AB in the middle. All we have to do is figure out which signs to put in these three holes. And there's an acronym we can use, and that acronym is SOAP. So the first sign would be the same sign as you had in the binomial. So if this were A plus B, then this would be a positive sign. If this were A minus B, then this would be a negative sign. The next space would be the opposite of that. So if this were a positive up here, this would be a positive, and this would be the opposite of positive or negative. The third sign is going to always be positive. So if we had something like A to the third power plus B to the third power, this would factor as A plus B, because this sign is the same. We would have a trinomial with an A squared as the first term, and a B squared as the third term, and an AB in the middle. The first sign is the same as the original. The second sign would be the opposite, so this would be a negative, and the third sign would be always positive. The trick now is to identify within your sum of cubes what the A term is and what the B term is. So if we had something like x to the third plus 27, well, x to the third is really x to the third power. So your A here would be the letter x. And plus 27 is really plus 3 to the third power. So your first term here, instead of being A plus B, would be x plus 3. Your first term here, instead of being A squared, would be x squared. Your third term, instead of being B squared, would be B, which is 3, or 3 squared, which is 9. And then the middle term would just be A times B, or 3 times x. This sign would always be the same as this. The next sign would be the opposite, and the last sign would be always positive. So x cubed plus 27 would factor to x plus 3 times x squared minus 3x plus 9, and you could check this by foiling and then combining like terms.